Libras, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 17th to the 23rd of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so Libras, this week we have a few things going on that are very significant for us collectively, one of which is involving your ruler Venus, who is going to be shifting into Scorpio, into your second house. So we'll talk about that, but we also do have Mars conjoining up to Pluto, which is very collectively significant, and also Mercury opposing up to Uranus. So regarding this Venus, I think this first half of the week, I think you'll still find that it's a great week to pursue your goals. Anything that has to do with your independence can be going well at this time. You could be learning a lot about the importance of independence, in fact, and anything else that is about you pursuing your personal needs in life. So that's the first house. You could, some of you too, even be feeling good, looking good, sprucing up the self-image, that kind of stuff with Venus in the first. Then as we go into the second half, Venus going into Scorpio is your second house. And this has more to do with the values. On an external level, things like your finances, your personal resources, your assets, things like that. And on an inner level, has more to do with your sense of self-worth, your self-reliance, standing on your own 2 feet and pursuing your values in life and saving and that kind of thing. So to do that, it's been, over this past year, required for you to take this seriously. Really take the slow, steady, patient approach when it comes to these matters, which has been Saturn, really the mature approach too, if it has to do with spending and saving and that kind of a thing. But now your ruler coming in here is really emphasizing that. So I think it is a great time to put energy into this, put energy into your values, put energy into your self-reliance, and to really cultivate that. And especially as Venus gets closer to Saturn, really taking that seriously. But there's certainly that shift with matters relating to the second house that can go well for you with the chart ruler there. But it is something that I think is up to us, and we can cultivate with that awareness of it. All right, so along with that, this Mars conjoining up to Pluto is very transformative. This is very deep. This is a lot of it having to do with your mind. Your mind is going through this transformation, as it has been for many years, but now really being emphasized at this time, this week. And really, these past few weeks, you may have noticed maybe a bit more directness with your communication, maybe a bit more wanting to learn, read, write, communicate. Maybe there's more active energy with that for some of you. But whatever it's been, now's the transformation time with this, when Mars goes over Pluto. So Pluto's very deep. This can be oftentimes fears and inhibitions and traumas and deep things that can come to the forefront, maybe involving your perspective, maybe involving the mind, involving maybe communications as well. And the key with this is to sort of take a step back as best as we can, because Pluto is the ego killer, in the sense that if we're too attached, we're too ego identified, we're too identified with what we say, with what we communicate, with what we think, then it can become very intense and very destructive in that sense, generally speaking. But as we separate from that, as we are non-attached, in other words, we're okay with how things are, we're not attached and identify with any particular thing we're thinking or communicating or whatever, then a true liberation occurs, the true transformation occurs, which the transformation's occurring anyways, but that helps us align with it. All right. And so I think it's an excellent week to dive deep with the mind, dive deep with the communications, see if there's anything that surfaces that might have to do with, again, wanting to control things or identify with things, and then separating, letting go, detaching. And through that, an immense power of mind, again, transforming your mind. There's definitely that taking place, a transformation of your communication. And again, if there is anything external, anything that might have to do with writing, such as courses or learning, things like that, reading, these types of things. All right. So that's going to be that side of it. Now, Mars does also rule that second house, which is the whole financial stuff we're talking about. So there could certainly be some transformations this week in regards to that as well. And again, maybe these deeper fears or anxieties brought to the surface, depending on your personal chart. But with that being said, again, liberating yourself by separating from non-attachment. In other words, being willing to live what might be a minimal sort of lifestyle or a minimal approach to things on the material level, can certainly help you free that energy up and make whatever changes that are needed. And like I said, I think it's an excellent week for change there. Now, Mars does also rule relationships for you, so that could also be involving relationships. And I think any old relationship patterns that you might have are being released this week as well. And it might all have to do with the same thing, or the same event, so to speak, in your life, if there is one, But again, the personal chart's the most important. But collectively, there's certainly transformations happening this week. It has to do with you Libra's minds, how you communicate, has to do with your values in life, maybe the resources, and the relationships as well. All right, so that's that aspect, very important. And Mercury opposing up to Uranus does sort of give us this emphasis of this 12th house. This whole lunar cycle, this whole month almost, has been really emphasizing the deeper side of things. Really getting into your alone time, your beingness, connecting on that level. And there's a lot to learn about this. And again, this is the spiritual process. So with that being said, I think it is a great week for all those things. Anything that is about that alone time and meditation or whatever that is, inner exploration, psychology is also very important. There's a lot of opportunity for this too with Jupiter here. There's a lot to learn about the spiritual dimension of life at the moment. But with this Uranus, there is a bit of this liberation that's been needed for you with your routine and with your work life. And so you could be feeling this sort of push and pull this week here around Thursday, where on one hand you might want to, get into the alone time or work behind the scenes a bit, but then there's something might be pulling you to have more freedom in your routine. So it's good to be aware of that. Watch any extremes, of course, because it is an opposition, but listen to that. There is something here that is and has been calling you to make some changes, maybe not a major change, but at least minor change on some level, so you can have a bit more freedom in your routine this week. All right, mix things up a bit, try some things outside the box, and balance that, daily stuff with getting that alone time and that spiritual time out. All right, so those are the three most important things. Venus going into your second house, certainly putting more of an emphasis on those values of yours, both inner resources and outer resources being emphasized. Transformations occurring with that, with Mars over Pluto, but also with your mind, how you communicate, and relationships as well. It's the old and making way for the new. There's a lot of new beginnings with this. And the balance of what has been this behind the scenes time for you. And I think it's great to continue with that while at the same time balance these daily activities. All right, so Libras, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.